Good evening everyone. Welcome to River Parish Council. We'll run through the agenda which starts with apologies for absence.
Apologies for absence. I have Councillor Beresford, Councillor Taylor, Councillor Wright and District Councillor Rose.
Thank you. Any declarations of interest from a few of us that are here? No? Right. To receive the minutes of the previous meetings, you all have a copy. Of the annual general meeting. Firstly, can I have a proposer and seconder that they are correct minutes? Mike and Chris, thank you. And any matters arising? I'll turn my phone off, sorry. Right, there were a couple of things on there. The renovation of the phone box, well underway, if not completely finished. I will have a word with Patrick, but I think what we need to do...
Finished.
Sorry?
Doesn't look very finished.
No, it's painted, it's not glazed.
Yeah, that's right, it's just needs the glazing.
The glazing, yes, yeah. I mean, Patrick obviously is looking after that for us, but I will ask him, it must be lockable. The co-op have agreed that they will lock it overnight for us. It'll be we'll maintain it as a library, but it will be locked overnight. But we need to make certain we get a lock on there. I'll chase Patrick on that. Everything else will be covered either on Recreation Ground report or I think is closed. Nobody's got anything else on those? Right, that's that. Planning Committee meeting 19th of May.
This is just to note this.
We don't have
minutes.
to approve. Yep.
Although there is one thing, I had a notification today of an amended description. The second item that we discussed at that meeting was 20 Orchard Drive, the erection of a single-storey side extension and
yes.
conversion of garage. They've now amended the description, erection of single-storey side extension, incorporating garage conversion, which doesn't make a lot of difference, but I suppose it changes our view on it.
Right, do we need to propose and second that? No?
No, that's fine.
Okay. And the other one is the Events Committee meeting.
Yeah, I'm afraid that is to follow. I'm still behind with that.
I was just going to say, I thought I missed it, yes.
In the next
Right, okay. No update then on those minutes, we'll move on. Shall we, as normal, take the district councillors and the county councillors? Yes? So...
Can we go first?
Okay, thank you.
So obviously there's not much to really report on, as you probably well know by now, with Labour are now running DDC council. 13 Conservative members to 17 Labour and one independent, I think that's right, isn't it? So yes, that's our future for the next 4 years. Labour-led DDC. There's sort of certain stuff that's saying they're possibly going to change. We'll look out for that. There's going to be some waste changes coming up and all that sort of stuff, I think, in the very near future. So we'll watch it and go from there. Regarding, obviously I've got some update regarding the planning application, which we spoke about again this week, Nick. So Sports England have come back with planning application on the rec and are still objecting to the permission of the office block. I've looked into calling it into committee, when I say office block, I'm sorry, I mean the ground, the second floor part. I've looked into calling it into committee, but if I was to call the whole application into committee and the committee passed it, then it would probably have to go to the inspectorate still to be signed off because of Sports England's objection due to losing sporting facilities. So I've gone back to the officer, gone back to legal to see what other options we've got. It may be a simple option of just withdrawing the application and and resubmitting a new application where it's just literally the changing rooms itself and leaving the office as a dormant application for anyone to pick up on it. So that's that. And then lastly, I suppose another thing I want to try and do, which I've done, it worked quite well. Obviously, a lot of parish councils under my hat, if you like, have sort of changed chairmen, have changed parish councillors, and there's quite a few different ideas coming from different members of the parish council. So I'd like to try and fairly quickly get all my parish councils back together again and have another meeting. I've done it when I was first elected 4 years ago. Auckland Parish Council, with my KCC hat on, they've got some sort of really different ideas that they would like to do with the Auckland Valley, which could affect yourselves, could affect Temple York. I just think it's silly that no one's working together. So that will be, I'm going to sort of get around all my parishes in the next couple of weeks, talk to everyone, and then arrange a meeting where we can all meet up and try and work as united front really, rather than individuals, because I just can't see the point of it. And that's pretty much it, Chair.
Thank you. If I could say on behalf of River Parish Council, thank you very much indeed for your assistance behind the scenes on the sporting activities, the planning applications. Really appreciate your assistance on those. And yes, your possible solution, I think, is the way that it will go forward. We would certainly agree to that.
Okay, well, that's
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm starting for a duo today, so I'm starting, Nigel's finishing it off, the expert's finishing it off. So I really got three things about Kent. First of all, it's just basically, the first one is a yellow health alert warning was again issued today by KCC and the UK Health Security Agency. It's going to get hotter, so it's just basically telling everyone to check next door neighbours, or elderly people, just make sure they're okay, and report it to the police or the services. Just a reminder that this week, or the weekend of 24th, 25th, it's free bus travel for anyone. That's just a reminder you all should know, please pass it on. And this is due to a collaboration between Kent County Council and bus companies, paid for with funding from the government. Finally, for me, before I hand over to Nigel, is that KCC are doing a big push on vaping, and especially vaping with the underage, and so they're doing a really big push on that they're cracking down on these illegal vapes that are coming in, and the kids are all smoking them. I vape, I know, and I'm probably too old, but a lot of kids are actually getting into it, and then they go on to worse things. So I'll now hand over to Nigel. I think we'll finish off, especially house waste.
Yeah. He's got me in here already. One thing, I'll mention the free buses. It's only till 8 o'clock at night. After that you have to pay. I think it'll still be a £2 ticket though, but let's check anyway. So why don't you have a bus here after 8 o'clock at night?
What do you say?
Don't control the bus here after 8 o'clock at night.
No, they don't. We don't get many during the day going.
We don't have any buses really, so don't worry.
Sorry, I mentioned buses.
Yeah, you're right, Major. Nothing wrong. And all the people at home now have to have taxis home.
To continue, there's a big drive on for anybody who's eligible for the COVID jab, the 5th one, to have it. It's still around, COVID's still around, and there are some local cases. So if you're eligible and haven't had it, we're suggesting you do. You may have heard recently about some colleagues of ours getting hauled over the coals about talking about special educational needs and disability children. There is a criteria. I mean, obviously, you don't want to, you don't want to knock anybody back who's disabled or got a medical problem. But it's being looked into, and there's one Brumside already, the other one's likely to. They're looking into it completely, and so they should be on there, shouldn't be all very long. Sorry about
last meeting, didn't we?
It's on your agenda, Chairman.
Yes. Yeah, for an update.
Yes.
Yep.
We'll get to you.
Yes. Yep.
Another thing is they're looking for people to foster children. So if you know anybody wants to look into fostering, they'd be, I mean obviously that to be vetted, but they're really desperate for people to foster young children. And social care. Meeting I've been at this morning. It's one of the things that the Parish Council has to do, and it's something that costs more and more every year. And obviously, things need to be looked at very seriously in the light of the financial situation that we're all in. So I'll have to keep you posted on that one. I think that's about it. Thanks, Chairman.
Thank you. I will conform highway improvement plans 10C on the agenda tonight. Thank you, David. Yes. Right. Thank you, gentlemen, collectively. Thank you very much indeed for your support. Policing, Andrew?
Yeah, I did send round a report. I haven't got copies for everyone at the
I
moment.
have got a copy.
I attended the police and parish meeting on behalf of the Parish Council, and I included all of the things discussed on the report. I have since then heard from our dedicated constable, PC James Chenery, and I have passed round details to all parish councillors. Unlike previous PCSOs, we were all advised to not contact the PCSO directly, but now apparently we are allowed to contact the PC should we have anything that we wish to report or raise with him. But I think the report says everything. So.
Yes, yeah. I don't know if you had a chance to read it, but I did, and the PCSO had also put a brief note in about himself, an introduction, and I think it's got 8 areas. Is it in total he covers? Yes, 8 areas. So he spread pretty thin.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I remember the good old days where we funded and we had 50% of one. We're now getting an 8th. Okay, it doesn't cost us anything, but it is. I mean, he will do his best he can, but they are very, very stretched. The police. They are short of numbers.
But the person we have now is actually a PC, a warranted officer,
Yes,
rather than
the PCS, yes, which is better. Yes, he's got more power.
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
I may also like to go through the chat.
Thank you, David. I'll be in touch with you tomorrow. Thank you.
Nice to see you, David.
In fact, excuse me, Chair, just looking at the letter on the attachment, I counted about has been 11 parishes, plus, as he says, the house retain operation responsibility for Dover Town Centre. So as he says, so I'm going to be stretched.
Yes, he certainly is. I mean, we're sharing him with all the other villages. We're no worse off, we're no better off, but we're all getting a little bit of police support, but they don't have the numbers. I can't say any more than that. It's rather like the buses. As a parish council, we'd love to do more. It's completely out of our hands. Yeah, we can chase Stagecoach, we can chase everybody, but they, for financial reasons, can't do it. And the same now, I think, with DDC. Whether there be a change from DDC with a fresh vision at the top will be interesting. I won't prejudge that or preempt it, but I say it will be interesting to see. But all of the villages, including River, are suffering as a result of the bus shortage. I wish we could do more.
On the budget on that ridiculous fast train.
So policing, right, parish councillors quickly. Anything in particular? Mike, starting with you.
Yeah, just one thing. We have lost our catchment officer from Environment Agency. I've met 3 times over the last year. We don't currently have anybody in place. I'm attending a meeting of the East Kent Improvement Partnership on the 18th of July, and there should be somebody there from the Environment Agency that will tell us who our next catchment officer is at the moment.
Right.
Okay,
we've lost him or they've lost him? and
No,
therefore
no,
we've
she's
lost?
moved onwards.
She's
and
moved
upwards.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
Good. There's
Okay.
nothing we've done then.
No,
Right, yes. Yeah.
no.
Thank you. Anything else?
That's it, thank you.
Nothing
Chris?
in particular at the moment, no.
Christian?
Yeah, just one thing. I received a provisional invite from the Recreation Cafe ladies, Jess and Gabby. They're inviting us for a little dry run once they
Yes, yeah.
once they have a day. They've been approaching me. Apart from that, I'm busy doing fete planning. There will be a few surprises for the village. Something new, something old, something blue, basically. So yeah, so it's not the usual arena events. We've got a few new surprises there.
Good. Thank you. Right, we'll move on then. Any questions from the public?
Well, I have one. We have an email from a gentleman just following on from the Gorse Hill land sale. Dear sir, with great regret, I see Gorse Hill has now been sold and was advertised as having potential development for retirement and community projects. If the Parish Council were to apply for a local community asset order to the land, it could put halt to any development now or in the near future and save an incredibly rare and valuable Gorse heathland with all its biodiversity. I've emailed you as I cannot see a link to...
And
please forward my concerns
what
to...
is he suggesting we do?
Well, he's picked up on these community asset
Yeah.
orders, but I have actually gone back to him on this. They're not... Once you declare something an asset of community value, it doesn't mean that they're protected in perpetuity. You basically have a 6-month break when the organisation that asks for the community value order has a chance to put together a bid to buy it.
Right. I think we had one with the Royal Oak, didn't we? Well, there was one.
Possibly
There
might
was
have
a
been
rumour.
suggested,
There was a
yeah.
rumour some time ago it was going to be developed, and I think.
But there is this sort of myth that it's...
Is Gorse Hill completely in River Parish?
No, it's the address is coming off Cravell Lane, but the actual land is outside the parish.
So who should be putting forward?
I think it's verges on St Radigan's.
Yes, well that's what I
And
said.
that's what we've got to worry about.
Yes, but
Not that I've got anything against St Radigan's.
no, we
We
must.
don't want the
we
St
certainly-
Radigan's to be merged in with River. Otherwise all will be lost for, I thought.
Would you like to check with Carl just to see if there's any?
I don't care if you do go to St Radigan's school.
Yeah, well, my wife was brought up at Bunkers Hill.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I was a governor at St Radigan's.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong
So-
with St Radigan's.
Yeah.
But if the access is by Cravell Lane, it's in River Parish, surely.
Absolutely.
No, it doesn't alter where the land is. It alters where the cars are coming and going from. But if that's St Radigan's, no, the fact they're driving on our roads, it doesn't mean that it's our responsibility. But I'm just asking Andrew if he could speak to Colk to see if there's any, if what is being suggested here is worth putting forward. Could I ask our learned gentlemen over there if they have any thoughts on it?
I think you've got to find out where it is first.
If it's their land, if it's St Rad's land, they will have to sort of put in the application. But if then planning goes on it, you then have the ability to say no planning. But it's yes, the community asset is a very strange one. It just means you can buy the property as the clerk said, you know.
But it's been sold and it's.
Yeah.
But there certainly isn't
It's
development rights on it.
And
There's
there's no
the possibility.
It's not a what's that other one they do? Community benefit. It's like village.
Yes, they're saying retirement homes.
Well, no, there's no planning
Oh, I thought- yeah,
application.
no, but
it's
I
only
say-
a suggestion what it could be used for.
There is no planning permission on it, but
Yeah,
they're saying, or they've indicated what they might try to get.
Yes, I know. So
Yes.
someone is going to do it.
Yeah. So is that River or is that St Radigan's?
It's
Or
St Rad's. The thing with St Rad's, so it'd be St Rad's to ask for it to be a community benefit asset. and so they will have to ask for it. You will then help them out. You know.
If they want us to.
If they want you to, so then they,
Yeah.
So that'd be the town, it is the town council, so that's the town council, but if they want to save it, then they'll be coming to you as River Parish as they
Right.
want to help out.
So there's nothing that River Parish can do directly, apart from maybe canvassing Dover Town Council.
Probably.
Yep.
That's probably the best way.
Just,
Maybe make St Renegans Council aware of what's possible.
Yes, but
Some
certainly,
relatives,
yes, yeah,
It's part of
Dover
Dover.
Town.
they are Dover Town.
Kelly?
can I ask, what is the definition of a community asset then?
It's something that the community think is an asset to them,
That's it.
For
whatever.
Could be the
Whatever.
recreation
Could be
ground,
friendly.
could be a store.
Yeah,
Could be
a store,
anything,
you
yes.
can do anything for it. But it doesn't have much legal binding in it really, so it's a delay.
A delay, yes, yep.
I know I
So,
said
yes.
I wouldn't speak, but
Yeah.
I just want to say that as the people who are now in opposition have said, the Labour group is all for building houses and social housing and to house asylum seekers. They are a different, we've got to look at it, the council is going to be a different kind of council. I'm not going to say I agree with what you did, and I'm not going to say I agree with what they are doing, but that will be their main aim, will be to provide social housing.
Yep, affordable housing.
But that's
social housing.
acknowledged,
No,
we do need
social
so
housing.
much social
Social.
housing though,
There's
isn't
a
there?
difference between social
Right.
and affordable.
We
Social
do
is
need
your
some
council
social
housing.
housing.
Affordable
Is-
affordable
is-
is you pay.
Yes,
You
yeah.
pay, you
Right.
pay a certain amount.
And that, I did
towards
allude to that earlier when I said it would be interesting to see
Yeah.
how things that we've discussed, the buses, etc., whether they will still fall on deaf ears with the now DDC leaders. So we can, the only way we can do anything then is to canvass Dover Town Council and just voice our concerns. Right, we will do that together. I'll speak with Andrew outside of this meeting, but we will arrange to speak to Dover Town Council. You're looking worried. Nigel,
You
no?
don't know Town
Yeah.
No, just, Ollie was saying something and I stopped checking so I could hear what you were saying.
Yes, sorry, yep. But no, I just think that we will take it up with Dover Town Council and we'll see what, if any, what response we get and whether they're interested.
Do you know who's bought it?
No.
No. Right, we'll certainly pursue it with Dover Town Council, and at the next meeting we'll come back and say how well or badly they've received our request. Yep. Right. And the other question from the public I have in front of me here is dogs in the recreation ground. I've been on the parish council for more than 10 years, and in all that time dogs have been banned from the recreation ground. I, over the last 2 years, have fought long and hard to get some easing of that restriction because, quite rightly, a number of parents were complaining that their children were playing in the play area. They had dogs and therefore they had to stand at the lower road gate and they couldn't really supervise what their children were doing. And obviously the children playing, the dog walking all went together for them. I therefore, at the last meeting, announced, and I've got a note here from a member of the public who obviously didn't hear fully what I said. I said I'd opened the bottom end of the recreation ground. I'd had the restriction lifted to allow parents, grandparents, to view their children playing in the new play area. Enable people legitimately to park their cars and take their dog in and out of the rec. They couldn't do that before. And thirdly, I said, for the soon-to-be cafe. The cafe, who I wouldn't speak to, Christian, on the website because I was worried that they were trying to get hold of River Parish Council because of an exchange from the person who's written this question to me or to the parish council as to why we're penalising river residents in not allowing them to bring their dogs into the recreation ground. We're allowing them to bring them into the lower part, still on a lead. The play areas where the children play, we've now got football. Even with the ban, we still have dogs' mess in the recreation ground. When they're playing football, they occasionally get plastered. We have people walking their dogs, even in the play areas where their children and other children are playing, and at the end of the day, there's dog toilet in there. For me, we have a few people, I've spoken to dog owners, dog walkers, who are saying, no, it's right, because unfortunately not all dog owners are responsible. They pick their muck up, put it into a bag and chuck that bag somewhere. We certainly have people in there, even now, walking dogs in that wreck off the lead. If it weren't for a couple who live very close to the wreck, those people would go mainly unchallenged. They are challenged, and whenever we can, we get the dog warden down. I believe the majority of people in the village who have children who play in that park would hate to think that we were opening it to all dogs. And unless there's a big movement within the village, I certainly will support something that's been in place for 10 plus years. I've got it partly lifted to make it more friendly to dog walkers. I have done that, and that wasn't an easy thing to do. It wasn't readily accepted by other parish councillors, but it's happened. And I think it's very wrong to put the recreation ground in the same area as the other parks, etc. in the area. You know, they are. We now have football back in. I've been under pressure because there's no football. We've now got football back in the rec. If we bring dogs back in there, we lose football tomorrow. People will not bring their children out to play on pitches which are soiled by dogs. And that's no... As a family, we have many dogs. 2 with my eldest son, 2 with my youngest son. I've got grandchildren with dogs. Love the animals, but you know, not all people respect what their dogs do, and there is always in river tremendous mess on the pavements. You know, and that's not stray dogs. It's dogs you can see. It's every day the same place. It's people walking their dog, allowing them to we'll go to toilet on the pavement, and they leave it. They just walk away and leave it, or they bag it up and throw it into the bushes. So I, for one, would really strongly fight any question of having dog walking in the wreck apart from that lower area. And they're the reasons why, listening to children, listening to dog owners, listening to non-dog owners, you know, and parents of children, I think it would be really detrimental. Christian, sorry, you were going to say something.
It's just one idea as well, as it's the only park and play park where there's no dogs visible, or that is important for Dover, because there's not all children love dogs. There's some children extremely scared of them and mortified, and they come to us and feel safe there. I would find that horrible to stop that. She's mentioning that dogs are allowed in the rec at the dog show, and so we're lifting that ban on that. The only way around that to please her, I don't know, make it fair, is to cancel the dog show.
We some years ago.
I could do that.
We some years ago decided to have the dog show. It proved popular. It's been in there, and I really don't understand the logic of moaning you can't walk dogs and saying, well, you've got a special event and you make a special dispensation for dogs. They should be banned as well. They're either a dog lover, a dog hater. This is someone trying to use the argument sort of 2 ways round. I would be disappointed if we cancelled the dog show. I think it's locally regarded as a good event. And yeah,
We always have it
I'm
last.
amazed, but there's only a handful of us here this evening, but Mike, any comments please?
The only comment I'd have, I totally support you as a previous dog owner 10 years ago here, is that there may be some comeback after the dog show if this particular person wants to stir up trouble by going in there to looking for dog's mess or anything like that.
We have
So
somebody
don't-
that clears it,
Oh,
we
right,
clear the wreck. Yeah, unfortunately, we have
Otherwise, okay,
a handyman
yeah.
that does 101 jobs, and one of those, unfortunately, and he's one of the couple that try to police wreck when people get in there. So no, we have to
Yeah.
clear their mess up, and we still do. It's not nice.
Well, no.
Yeah, sorry, Mike.
No, I'm in agreement with the...
Chris?
Yeah, I generally agree. Agreement with you. In terms of the dog show, I think we've got to emphasise that it is a special dispensation for that event. And it's just a one-off, once a year.
Well, we've agreed it with DDC. They know that for that one day there are no fines
I make
issued.
sure that the general public...
And it's a local village event, and a lot of people enjoy the dog show. Christian?
Well, I love the dog show, but after this letter,
It's just,
I'm not really.
yeah. I would say it's very disappointing.
It is a bit
We,
disappointing.
as a parish council, we try to do as much as we can for this village, and whatever we do, somebody always moans. We've got parents screaming because the dogs were messing in the wreck. We've reduced that. We've now got somebody saying we're being unfair to old people who want to walk their dogs, but they want to walk them on a shorter route. If they're walking their dogs, they're not looking for a short walk, they're looking for a walk with a dog. I really find it disappointing, but certainly you may respond, and Andrew, you know, as a parish council, that's been the rules for years. The dog show will continue. It's popular. DDC know we're doing it.
It makes a lot of money for us, for the village, the dog show.
Well,
It's one of our, you know, the fate is there to gain funds for the community. That pot is usually split into different charities of our clubs, or whoever needs a help, gets money from the event pot. So it would be a real shame to lose that fund if we have to cancel the dog show because of this.
Well, certainly we won't cancel it this year. It's
No,
on the
can't.
it's on the programme. It's
Yeah,
there.
can't
If
do
we
it.
find there's a real groundswell of people, not a single person, a real groundswell of people saying the rules in the rec need to be reconsidered, then we'll listen to it.
Yeah.
This is the one person, and everyone that I speak to, okay, they're in the rec, they're using the facilities there, but they're all saying how nice it is that it's relatively free of dogs. It's not clear of it, but we clear it as we go, or we try to. So no, if you can reply to that, please, Andrew. Thank you. Right, item. We haven't got a 7.
In the audience who wants to raise anything?
Yes, sorry. Any
Can I
members?
just say-
Yes, of course.
I've been on the Cllr River Fete for a long time, and the number of times we've had the dog show there, obviously it's been great, but we do get a lot of people coming in there and letting their dogs off the lead on that particular day. It's like as if they're against us. You know, they
Yes,
know they're
yep.
not allowed to bring their dogs in, so all right, I'll bring my dog in and I'll let him off the lead.
Yep.
And that has, and I've told a few people, you know, please will you put the dog back on the lead? And they have adhered to it, but with a bit of a, you know.
Yes. Yep.
And we've always done it, and I will admit, people don't seem to like the idea, and we've done it now for over 20 years. We've had the dog show, I think, so it's a long, long time.
It is. Well, I
It's
didn't.
a long, long time.
Yes.
Because I did the Millennium Fete.
Right.
So that's, you know, quite a long time.
Yep.
So, well, I mean, I've done it before, but, you know, I continued, but that was a special one.
Thank you.
But I just feel, having let the dog go in so far, at least you can go in and see your grandchildren, and everybody else, you know, and then to me, that's, you can take your car in and park, and you can get your dog out of that way.
Correct.
You know, you're not going actually into
Because-
the gate, you're not walking
Yep.
up the steps, you You're just in that area.
Yeah, everyone ran the risk of walking their dog down to the lower road gate and getting a fine. And that was the law. And I said, it's silly. And I said, when we put the play area there, and you could see the parents standing at that lower road gate, and they'd said to, when I went in out, why do we have to stand here? We won't take them any further than the barrier, and that's why we lifted the restriction to the barrier. And if they do defecate in that area, it's easy to clear it up because it's asphalt, it's tarmac. We can clear it up. Thank you for that.
No, I just feel bitter like you,
Yeah.
because I know how hard it is.
And I didn't realise it'd been going for 20 years, so that's, yeah.
Our fate's been going a lot longer than
Yes, yeah, but the dog show, yes,
We
yeah.
need to find out how long, really.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an anniversary coming up.
There you go.
It's been a long, long time.
Any other questions from the floor? Mr Hall, you're normally here for a reason.
Well, just a comment on dogs.
Yeah.
You want to go up on site.
Yep.
The recreation ground up there is covered.
I know.
And it is disgusting.
I know, and
He's got a
Good
poor
night,
leg and
thank you.
touching his leg.
there we are.
I'm
No, I was
sorry
just
about
going to say that was an important comment from Mr Hall there, that you go to Elms Fair where they allow dogs and it is covered in dog's muck. You know, you open the... I'm not against animals, I love animals, but it's... You can't, an animal... Well, you've either got to respect that everything your animal does, you clear up, and it obviously doesn't happen in Elms Vale, and it even doesn't happen in the few people that get into the wreck now. We find dog's muck in there, and we clear it up. So thank you for that. No other questions from the public? Thank you. Right, we'll move on to planning matters. You've got, oh, come on, I've got less items. You've got, no, go on, sorry, we've got different agendas here, yes.
There is actually only one planning application now, number 2 on the list. They're actually both for the same property, but number 2 on the list has been withdrawn, application has been withdrawn, so no reason to look at that one. It's just this first one, 21 Deanwood Road, erection of fixed roof extension and rear dormer with Juliet balcony, flat roofed porch and external alterations. It's retrospective, so I assume that most of it's been done already. I had a look online this afternoon. There are no objections.
No objections.
From anybody.
Has Pauline looked at it? No
Pauline has
comments
no
from...
chance.
Sorry,
No
no, I was
comments
just
from her,
thinking Pauline would normally check these out and would advise us or point us in the right or the wrong direction.
You've got a copy of it there if you... That's the one.
Right.
The big the A3 sheet at the back shows the whole plan.
Got it, yeah. But it's retrospective, so they're already doing it.
They're doing it, yeah.
But there's no objections from...
No objections from any members of the public or any neighbours.
Makes it into quite a nice property, doesn't it? But I just find it very difficult to understand how and why we get so many retrospective planning applications now. They've done the work, they've virtually finished it, and then they put in for planning, and they get it. In the old days, it used to be, if you built without planning, you knock it down. I mean, I find it strange. We've really relaxed.
That was that case of that guy that built a house behind a stack of straw, wasn't it?
Yes,
They
they
made him take it.
made him, yes, he had to demolish it. Yep. So, I mean, I can't see anything
No
objection or any reason to object, but I just feel that we ought to make a note. We are concerned that we are seeing more and more retrospective planning. Yeah. I mean, I just don't. I wondered if you had if there's any explanation for it, Nigel.
On our district
I know, no, I know you're not, but I just wondered with your past experience, I can't understand it.
So as you say,
I think the whole planning department's gone up the pot or something,
it's
but then I didn't say that.
Yep. No.
the whole thing, as you say, you know, people get these jobs done, they either deliberately do it, or they inadvertently do it.
Yes.
Probably a mixture of the two.
Yeah, no, amazing. So no, but if you could put a note on there that we are worried why we're seeing so many retrospective, and we are seeing not just the odd one.
A lot.
Yep. And we've even had one where he got caught doing it, stopped doing it, put in the retrospective planning, and then was allowed to continue despite every neighbour complaining about it. I find it really, really strange.
Why did they complain on planning green though?
They complained on the it's a massive building where there was.
It's got to be on planning.
Yes, yeah, I've no idea. It was bigger than it should have been. They complained about that, and they allowed them to build it much larger than the original plan, much larger. It's a monstrosity, but no, don't quote me on that. Take it off the film. Right, so we've no objections to that. Financial matters, Andrew.
You've each got a set of papers. First order of business is to approve the annual governance statement, which is all about our methods of working, etc. I've included some notes. They're very similar to the ones I provided last year regarding the questions that we answer. I've agreed with all the statements, answered yes to all the statements on the governance statement, apart from number 4. Reason being is that last year we were late filing our accounts, and although we had an extension to the filing deadline, there is still a statutory deadline for the approval of the statements and also the period of statutory rights. So we didn't meet that criteria last year. So during the year, i.e. the year going back from the end of March, we did not, according to the accounts and audit regulations, we did not meet the statutory requirements. So that's why I've answered no to that individual question, and then there will be a note in the final accounts to explain why. So unless anyone wants me to go through any particular reasons or any particular statements.
No, I have nothing.
No, I will ask for proposer and seconder for the approval of the annual governance statement.
Christian? First, Mike, second. Thank you. We're all in agreement?
Yep.
Yes, there's not many of us.
Okay, and I will ask Chairman to.
And you were told complete with those little bags, you just got to have.
Oh, it's good. So a lot of the trouble is that the bags get thrown by the roadside or
They go over my fence.
yes.
Could I ask you to sign on there, just on the line there, Mr.
Chairman, yep.
Find them all.
Thank you. Okay, item B, and that is then approval of the financial accounting statements. In your, I believe in your package that I've given you there, I've also included a copy of our internal auditor's report.
Yes.
The auditor went through everything, checked all the figures were correct. A couple of alterations from the figures that I presented at the annual general meeting, but not by very much. And I've given you an updated.
We always had a difference, didn't we? Are our differences still there, or
No,
did
no,
you
no,
find
it's
them?
all
Well done.
was
No, we
found,
had
and we have
every month a few pence here or a few. Well, not every month,
Yeah,
but
it went up,
but
it went up and down.
yes, yes. Good.
So, as I say, it's pretty much the same figures as I presented at the AGM, just very slightly different. In addition, with the annual accounting statements is obviously our asset register, which hasn't increased at all since last year, since the last financial year. So again, I would ask for, if you're all happy with that, and if you have any questions.
I think you're looking at that, and they're looking
Oh,
at that.
that's I mean, that effectively
Is that,
what's on
yes.
here.
Yep. Do I have a proposer? Christiane? And we'll have Chris this time, can we? Rather than Mike again.
Still studying it.
I would suggest if you, I know it sounds back to front, but if you're worried about anything, have a chat afterwards. No. Or if there's anything you haven't had a chance to see. But if you're reading it for the first time, it's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I say, it all balanced, and my
Yep.
auditor was happy with the
Okay.
balancing. So if I can get you to
Yeah.
So
Just
it's-
there.
that's down there, yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Right, well, I will submit the annual return for external audit, and I will send you all a copy of the, it's all submitted online now, and I'll send you all a copy of the package for your statements, for your information. Item C is financial report for April and May, verbal report, unfortunately, rather than a written report. I can confirm that the HSBC current account is now in the process of being closed. I submitted the closure documents at the beginning of the month. So we now are down to our Unity Bank current accounts. As I'll have a look into what the best options are, but we really ought to be opening a deposit account to keep some of our funds
Yes. Yep.
in there.
Yeah, especially now because interest is worth having. It wasn't worth having at 0.5%, but we're creeping up, unfortunately.
And actually talking to our internal auditor, he was saying that some other parish councils that he does the accounts for have been saying that Unity Bank, if you have their deposit account, if you've got enough in there, it covers the cost of the bank charges.
Right.
So it's well worth having.
Good.
So I'll look into that for next month. And the next prime order of business over the next month is to complete the VAT return to get all the money coming back on that. So that's the end of my verbal report for finance for the last 2 months.
With the new bank, we have internet banking now or not?
We have, my problem is still getting signatures.
Signatures, yes, yeah.
Councillor Beresford has,
I need to phone them up, really.
yeah, has I've got her everything submitted, so when she gets back from being away,
Because
hopefully
I've
she'll
signed
be
every
able
I've done, yes.
You're
I
okay.
can't log in. There's something about a memorable data or something that
You've forgotten.
well,
Yes.
I never knew it, to be honest. I swear, I never knew
They
that
always have
memorable
a,
data.
yes, yeah.
I tried the obvious things, cat names and whatever they ask you, but
You
nothing
can't.
works.
Okay. But no, it's certainly in this day and age to have internet banking is, well, certainly even at home now I couldn't imagine. I had to write a cheque the other day, but it's the first cheque I've written for about 6 months. Really is unusual to do. I do everything online, it's so easy. But no, certainly will be good when it just speeds everything up for you, and it's, well, I think much quicker than writing cheques, recording them.
I'll write me a reminder.
Yeah, once I've got two signatories online, then I can set up payments, but I can't. They need approval by signatories, and that's That's hold up at the moment.
No, that's good. But thank you, Andrew, for that's all the financial matters.
Well, it's just I had put about discussing additional bank account signatories, but we are a bit short on the ground, so probably better off talking about that when everyone's
Yes.
here and we can talk about it. We did mention it, I think, in the previous meeting about increasing in payments for the for cleaning and for the village handy.
Correct. Yes.
Just to confirm.
Carol, that involves you. Yes. Yes. No, you've obviously had the agreement for some time now, and wages have gone up, and we were aware that if we weren't careful, we were below the minimum we should be paying. So your salary went up this month.
It will be going up as of the beginning of next month.
Yep.
It's going up to 214.50 from 195, and
Yep.
the handyman is going up to 411 from 373. I'll actually be paying those payments for next month by cheque rather than
Right.
seeing as the HSBC account
Yep.
is now shutting down. I can't set up direct debits until so I've got.
Yep.
You'll have a cheque for this month.
Okay.
And I have to go to pay you.
I thought you'd obviously heard, that's why you were here tonight, but no, it's a small way of saying thank you. You are very good, you and Robin, in what you do and how you get on and do it, so thank you very much.
And yes, that's the end of the financial.
Right, you and I did VAT, are you going to bring that up later, the VAT system?
Oh,
Yes.
I'll bring that up under item 10.
Okay, sorry, yep. So we move on to 10, highway matters. Yep.
Right, well, first item is that we are seeing some movement on the changes to the waiting times. I've only got one of these. So the scheme that we had for increasing the length of the, this is in response to what River School were asking for, increasing the length of the common lane, W line around the corner and going up
The length of the lines.
up to the beginning of Guthrie Gardens, and also changing to the no stopping times to account for breakfast clubs and after school
Yes.
clubs. So that's it has gone forward for its whatever you might call it second consultation, and so it's in the pipeline to be done. So I've only got one copy of that with me, I'm afraid. But that is moving forward slowly.
Do you want to, yes, if you pass it. Yeah, thank you.
Item B.
Lower Road.
Yeah, as we were discussing, lack of signage. What I didn't realise is that there is a difference between a 20 mile per hour zone and a 20 mile per hour speed limit. If you have a 20 mile per hour speed limit, there's more in the way of street furniture, items, bollards, repeaters, signage, etc. Whereas what we have is a 20 mile per hour zone. They came out and they had a look at it, and according to them it's got enough signs. I've got a bit of reading matter to go through to try and understand the differences and why we had one and not the other. I think.
Is it right to assume that the speed limit will be enforced where a zone isn't? Is that the difference?
I think.
Well, there should be a
I think they
They're not,
do.
are they?
Mm,
20 mile zones, I haven't seen it being enforced.
no,
Even where I live in London either. But
I don't think either of them are particularly enforced. I think I think the speed limit is where they have where the average speed of the traffic is higher than 30, say, then they put in a speed limit. Whereas a 20 mile per hour zone is where they assess traffic and they find that actually the average speeds are close to 20 in any case, because they did one of these rumble strips.
Gosh, that's surprising because driving along there. Yes.
I mean, I'll carry on liaising
Yep.
with them. I'll see if possibly we can get some things put in there.
Well, we did say at the last meeting, see what we can ask them to do. If the answer is not, then it's a question of finding out what we can do. We do need more signs along there. You turn down, coming down by the co-op, you go into that part of Lower Road, and you wouldn't know It could be 100 mile an hour. There's no speed signs, no obvious. There's nothing that says hold up. So we do want some signs along there. If they won't provide them, but if we're allowed to, then I said unfortunately it would be an expense to the parish council, but we certainly would put more signs along there. At the moment there are none, are there?
Not along the stretch
No.
from the co-op to
No.
to the Dale Bridge.
Which is the worst area. Yeah, the most dangerous area and the more like the narrowest area. So yes, if we can, next meeting we'll come back with, hopefully if they won't do it, can't do it, we need to find out what we can do, and then unfortunately, yeah, we'll have a discussion as to the costs, but we will, and the legality of us putting up signs. No good us putting up signs, and someone, you know, if they ever did check the speed along there, if they're not the right signs, they won't be breaking the law. You know how it can be a technicality, so we need to check. Would you mind, Andrew?
Yes.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, you said about signs, footpaths along there are not very wide. Might be worth thinking about approaching them about having a rail painted in the road.
Yeah, I think we did ask for a roundel in the road.
There is
They
one,
said-
isn't there, where you first turn into it, or is there not?
As you go into it from the Kersney Abbey end, I think
Yep.
there's something up there.
There is when you come. Is it when you come down Common Lane? Is there not at the bottom?
Yeah, I think there is.
There's a round, which is
Yeah.
good. There's good, but
There's nearly always pigs, nearly always got a car parked on top
yes,
of it.
yeah. If you can see it, but yes, if you could, Andrew,
Yeah.
let's find out for the next meeting what we can or cannot do.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, well, the lot when you,
Yeah.
well, you park the wrong way though, you know, aren't you?
But we didn't know.
Yeah.
We have learnt now there's a difference between a 20 mile per hour zone
Limit.
and a speed limit. I mean,
Yeah.
I had no idea that we brought the wrong one, and that's and it cost us money. It cost us a lot of money, £5,000. Yeah, and it's a wrong one apparently.
And then I can see on this is our highway improvement plan is due an update. I think we had previously discussed a couple of things to go on. We were talking about a priority along the section of Lower Road where the mill is.
Yes, yes. Right opposite Crabber Corn Mill, there's a particularly narrow bit where there's always a leak. You can't get two cars past there, and at the moment you can see people forcing other ones to stop, etc. And we've said that what was suggested by young Rob actually, and yeah, but Robert, that we should consider, and it was Mercom Ely as well, a giveaway sign or priority on there, so that it's otherwise you can see cars and they're going as close as they can, neither giving way. One has to, or otherwise there's an accident. But yes, that was one that we were looking at, which is certainly, I think, a good idea. It's an accident waiting to happen. Thank goodness hasn't. Yep.
Well, the one that keeps coming up, of course, is the Kersney, the railway bridge on Alcombe Road. The narrowness of the footpath.
Oh,
yeah.
But there's, I
But
don't know
what can you do?
What you do about
You
that.
can, there's no room on either side. I mean, the footpath on one side, there is a footpath on one side. It's tiny. If you increase that, you've suddenly got traffic not passing each other, and you know already how busy that junction is. You see the queue of a night stretching back down along the Orkham Valley. If you start having it so that they've got to give way, you put lights in to control, because you can't expect them to give way gently, so you end up with lights. You end up then with a massive, massive problem on what already is a nasty junction. I don't know what we do.
So if I
I mean, has anyone got any suggestions as to what we could put there?
Just be patient and wait until it's clear and quickly walk through them.
Yes,
That's all you
yeah.
can
But
do.
if you're with children, with a pram or anything, it is frightening how narrow that is. but we're stuck with it. We can't touch the bridge. We can't move the bridge.
I did tell
Always
Ken
move
about
the
it.
bridge quite often, don't they?
Years ago, Chairman, the bungalow nearest to the bridge, I tried to get them so that we could have a tunnel through, like it is up between Temple Ewell and Lyddon. But fell on deaf ears.
Yep.
Because quite honestly, if you're trying to walk under the bridge with a pushchair, or a walker, or whatever, or a hat box, which I used to have, and it's very dangerous going
Yes,
under that
yes.
bridge. So to have traffic lights, well, that's not going to help it, because they'll be right up Whitfield Hill, everywhere.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. The traffic lights would
It would make it worse.
It would make it 10 times worse. It's bad enough now, but I'm just saying, if you widen that at all, then you end up, cars can't pass under there. You've got to then control it with lights. You can't, or you can have priority one way or t'other, but either way, it's going to slow already what is a dangerously busy junction. But no, I wondered, as you said, apart from possibly putting a tunnel around the back, and obviously, yep.
But people never look ahead. They only look about what's happening tomorrow.
Yep.
They don't look 2 or 3 years ahead. I mean, very difficult with those people that walk to River School from Kersney with pushchairs.
Yes.
You've got one in a pushchair and one sort of
Yep.
sergeant. Well, you can't. I don't know where it
No.
goes.
But certainly the priority near the mill needs to be on the plan. It's no good put something on the plan if it's not going to work. But certainly I've been chased by a number of people regarding it. I know Clive has, and I'm certain we all have at some time. It is very dangerous, but we can't ask to have a wider pavement, because all we're doing is creating an enormous problem with the road traffic then. Maybe safer to walk, but you're going to...
Is it possible, I know we've been talking for years and years and years, you can't put white lines down the middle of Lower Road by me, you know, as you come, you know, Meadowdean, you come out on Lower Road, don't you, to by Meadowdean.
Yes.
Is there any way that we can just have perhaps 1 or 2 lines just on that bend as they're coming out? Because everybody, when you come
For
out...
parking?
No,
Sorry.
you know where you
middle
stop.
markings.
You know where you stop.
Oh, yes,
as you
yes,
come.
yeah.
If we could have a line in the middle of the road somewhere to try and indicate to some people to keep over to the left-hand side, by the mill side, right? That might help some of that where they're coming down. Because I come up the other week and this woman wouldn't move. And I mean, she was in the middle of the road. I was by the wreck side coming up, urging the curve round, and she was more or less determined she wouldn't move, and she did have room her side. But I just wanted just to show people, you know, there is your side and our left hand, you know.
Yeah, dotted white line or something.
Yeah,
like that.
just
So
something.
it is a left and a right
It is.
side.
There is. It's not just a single. I think a lot of people think the bottom half coming out of Meadowdean down along by the wreck is a single line.
One way, you mean?
Hmm?
Do you mean one way?
Yeah, one way. They think it's just coming down.
Yeah.
They don't realise that cars are coming up with it.
Yeah.
Because the number of people that come way in the middle of the road.
Yeah, but it is, I mean, you mentioned that you come down through the lights, round that corner, people hurtle round there, they're right on the wrong side of the road by a foot or two, and they just put their foot down and you either stop or you hit them. You know, a line in the middle of the road, unfortunately, doesn't do anything. I know.
I wasn't thinking
Yeah,
of
no, but I'm just saying that, you know,
yeah,
they honestly
I know.
believe there that they've
Yeah.
got the right of way, they're coming down and I'm not stopping, and you can see it, and yeah, it's again an accident waiting to happen that's caused by parked cars, and we're all getting bigger cars. You look at a Mini now to what a Mini used to be, a Mini now is a big car.
Is there anything we can do about the Crubble Hill, you know, the traffic lights, that they're still a bit out, that there's still people turning into River
Yep.
Bend when we have green, and we actually...
We have raised that, and we came
it's
there
still not really right.
Yeah.
This
You
week.
know, you sometimes have green light, but there's 4
Oh,
cars.
3 or 4 cars, and if you don't know and decide to go, and
I'm
some
always
people
good
do,
now.
some people do,
Some
but
people say,
you
I've got
have
green.
you have to give way for those
Yes.
coming round. Otherwise,
So it needs to be technically needs to be a tad longer.
well, the trouble is it's resynchronising. Sorry, as you come out of River, up the hill, to the lights, you stop. The lights go green, but coming down, you've got the other lane where they have to pull into. You've got cars coming up. So when the cars stop coming up, you've got a second or two before the light goes green coming out of River. But then those poor devils stuck in no man's land, coming down, have to come round to clear the road, and they're cutting across. People come, they've gone through the lights. They're stuck because there's cars coming up.
Looking at,
It really is, but I have mentioned it before, and they said they can't synchronise.
Why can't I go?
I suppose it means, I don't know how they can do
It
it,
needs
but
longer. It just needs a little bit longer there. Needs longer. Our
well, it means
light,
actually delaying
the river-
hours
yeah,
going
Our
green
light needs to be a little bit longer.
5 seconds
How
longer
hard
or
is that?
something. Yeah.
Needs an arrow. Needs a period of time when the arrow
Well,
goes green. And then
in
you
most
close.
junctions like that, you have got an arrow that goes green and then goes red. There's nothing there. You are stuck in no man's land.
Yeah,
You've gone
can't-
past
you're
the
right in
lights.
the way as well.
You're right in the way, and you've got to get round.
I've done that both ways. You know, I had
Because otherwise, when the lights change, everyone's coming up and you're still stuck there. You'll be stuck there forever and a day.
But it's been a while now like this, and I can't see the problem why we can't have it a little bit longer on the
On the green
Who
line.
do we
River
need?
exit.
Who do we need to speak to? Is that highways? Is that? It's not local, is it? It's highways.
That's a good reason that we don't want a building on Horse Hill. Sorry.
there's more
Yep.
traffic. That's what she means.
Right.
It's only 2
But obviously
hours
the
out for
the
it.
highway improvement plan is a once a year thing. So
Yes.
anything we want added, it'll have to be when we update it. It'll have to be on.
Yes.
And then we'll
Yep.
be there for another year.
Okay. Yep.
But I mean, I'll bring that to the next meeting.
Yes.
Okay, that's done with
Right.
highways.
Recreation ground. Quite a few bits and pieces. Yeah, I was just going to say, dog signs gone up. One has already been knocked down, but we've got the new dog signs going up so that people can't, by mistake, walk a dog into the wreck. So often when we find someone there, they say, we didn't see the signs. So we've had the signs cleaned, we've had new signs put up, and it clearly shows where they can walk the dog and where they can't. We'll see if that makes any difference. The cafe is moving forward very slowly, and it's moving forward very slowly because we have a problem with regard to one of the neighbours claiming that the back wall of the old cottage is not the boundary line, that it's a party wall. So we've had to employ solicitors who are saying it definitely is a boundary line, but they're getting the proof now with help from DDC, but it means we haven't been able to put the windows in the back. If for any reason it does come up that it is a party wall, that solicitor will also mount our case, draw together a party wall agreement. We've got planning permission, and they will force them to let us put the windows in there. We don't want to do that if we can. We've agreed that they'll be opaque, that they can't see, so there's no privacy. They've asked not to open them too much, and we said yes, we'll restrict them. They'll be opaque. We'll just have enough to take air in and out. They've got to have air in there. So we've done everything we can, but we unfortunately have a problem. So cafe is slightly on hold. I spoke to Hallett & Co at Ashford, who are a specialist in this sort of dispute. They're dealing with it, and I should have the first guidance from them tomorrow on that point. But that, by the next meeting, will be resolved. But it does mean that I think the cafe will be later opening than July, because we've got to clear this. I said I daren't permit the builder, who's got permission to do it, to knock the windows through all the time. There's a question of it's a party wall. So that, unfortunately, is delaying that. The play areas, yep, we now have a quarterly inspection as well as a yearly one. to check the equipment and to make certain we repair everything as it needs doing. We were getting a backlog of jobs being done. We've now got, as something breaks down, the report comes out and it's repaired. So our play areas, you know, are as good as they ever have been. Yeah, we mentioned dogs in the rec. Yeah, we obviously have lifted the restriction. Dogs are allowed in the lower part of the rec, but they're not allowed on any of the playing fields or play areas. Football is back. Thank you to Andrew. We've got a draft now of the agreement between us and them. Rangers are positioning a container in the rec to store their equipment because they've got goals and lots of equipment there. They've got equipment in the old changing rooms because if it's left outside it gets ruined. So they are putting into place on Friday a container, painted green, so it's a container. It unfortunately it'll be in the top right-hand corner of the rec, running down the bank, but they will hold all of their equipment in there. We've helped them financially to purchase it. Rangers have obviously raised money themselves, but that will be in on Friday of this week, and then the goals will be put away after each game, because at the moment kids are playing on them and they're breaking them, and they break 2 or 3 times, and then it's just not possible to keep welding them together. So, but football moving well. The agreement we've got is well up with the FA, Football Federation, or ILUPA. We're waiting for them to confirm they're happy. Once that's agreed, then Rangers get subsidies for the cost of the cutting that they do, the pitch marking, and also the FA pay for ground improvements for them. So it's worth a lot of money. So we're pushing to get that into place. You obviously heard earlier on from David Beanie that the planning on for the lower ground floor, Sport England have said yes, they will withdraw their objections. They're not happy that we rent the other one out for commercial as a commercial property, but as David Beanie said, you know, we'll take the two separately, but we will this winter be proceeding with work, or as soon as we get the planning sorted, which David Beanie is doing, and then we will have a proper village meeting room for our meetings, open to the public, open for football, you know, open for any events that want to use it. So it will be a facility, and Sport England, who are the ones that are objecting, know it's vital for Rangers that they've got to have it. So that's why they've withdrawn their objection to that. It was drawn on the grounds that we were getting rid of a sporting facility, and we said, no, we're not. You know, we can't use it. And in this day and age, for junior teams, you can't have showers, certainly mixed showers, and you've got mixed teams. You know, it's just not practical, and there's not the space to do anything else. So yes, the tarmac paths, as reported last time, there is a delay on those being done. We know why. We've organised a contractor, and within the next week or two he will start on those. He said he wanted 6 weeks. He'd been in hospital for quite some time, but that's where we are on the recreation ground. The rec is looking good. We've had a couple of requests with regard to clearing ivy off trees, taking off some branches. Those jobs are all in hand. We're trying to be sympathetic if somebody wants help. If branches are causing a problem and damaging their property, then we will undertake to remove them. If they want their side of the tree made to look prettier, providing they can get permission to do it, then that's up to them to do it. But anything that is a danger, anything that is causing a problem to them, we are doing. So I say at the moment we've got 2 requests, one for some tree work, one for ivy removal. That's been given to our grounds people. and they will do it. They've got it on their list of things to do. They're busy, but yes. So as far as is possible, we're keeping everybody happy. They're not with the cafe. One or two people aren't happy, but the general opinion in the village is it would be good for the village. It'll be nice. Yeah, we are trying to work with everybody, all of our neighbours. But basically, yeah, the wreck I think has never looked in a better condition. It's in amazing condition. The new grounds people really take interest in what they're doing. You look at the hedge on Crabber Lane, the hedges on the back of the houses. We obviously do have work to do on trees. We will have to get the tree surgeon in again to give us an updated report. In fact, if we can turn it up and possibly ask him, Andrew, for an updated report. The trees on Lewisham Road are getting bigger, and everybody is saying they're too big, but there's a lot of trees there, and that's more like tens of thousands of pounds in tree work that unfortunately will have to be done. But we will get, can't remember the fellow's name, was it Sefton or something? Yeah. We will get him to do a report, and we will undertake the work that's necessary. Sorry?
Like a village grant you can maybe get for that as a village, as a community.
Village grant?
Like, is there might be something.
Might be some.
You know, like a tree conservation.
Just on 8:45, so sorry, we're just about finished. Yep, sorry. No, so a long discussion on the wreck, but that's where we are.
I've always had a loud voice.
Anyone got any questions on the wreck before we move on? Right. Item 12, to discuss planting additional trees in the parish.
I think this was the last meeting.
We just talked about it, so
I love trees.
Yeah, but then
Always more trees, but where?
Well-
More trees, please.
We've got one. It was had two on that years ago, and then there was.
Sorry,
lovely to have another.
DDC were heavily involved in the tree planting programme, were they not, in the area? We never
Seen
did.
no tree from them.
Never saw any conclusion to that.
I think they're more looking at large areas where they can plant lots of trees.
Lots of trees,
rather than
yes.
put
Course
one
Hill
here and
did
there.
great, actually.
Plant up
I think the whole role model now is towards ecology as opposed to aesthetics of an area.
Yes.
You want a large area with saplings in the grow the next 50 years, you know, for carbon capture and everything. You're not just plonking one in the street.
By the
but
side of the
whole,
road to make it look, yes,
pretty,
yeah.
I believe, sorry, when
Yes.
we were with the fete, a lot of this planted trees along, but you had to be careful along Lewisham Road because there's a lot of services on
Yes.
the pavements.
And the rules have altered.
Yeah.
Where you used to be able to plant a tree, you can't any longer.
No.
And that's what we found, you know, and to plant an odd tree was quite expensive. And if the highway did it, it cost a fortune.
Do we ever
Yes.
plant that Jubilee tree?
Sorry, what was that?
You know, the Queen's Jubilee tree, did we ever plant that?
Did we have one?
We'd agreed on one, but I think we never planted it. Because things changed a little.
Which went and died.
Because we wanted to plant it in autumn, because
Oh, of
you
course,
told me
yes,
you
sorry.
can't plant a tree at the Jubilee celebration because trees are planted in autumn. And then
Yes, but we
things
did
change
say-
slightly in autumn.
But the debate was we wanted where we were going to put it because we
Yeah.
said we can't put another odd one in the wreck. We were talking of many places, and Sue, you brought up yes.
We were always called Leafy River. Always.
Right. Let's.
Was that back in the 50s?
So
We always had tree stumps and you had to watch what you were doing and fall over.
But so there's no trees available unless we purchase them, and then we've got to find suitable plots to put them into. Yep. Right. Can you keep that on? If everyone give it some thought and just come up with what we want where, and any members of the public that like to say where they would like trees,
Pebble Lane.
sensibly.
There used to be loads of trees in Pebble Lane, and there's about one, I think.
They said the problem is now when they're planting these trees, they want to plant a forest as opposed to an odd tree.
The Abbicks, they've got the Abbey going
Yeah.
with all their millions.
I feel round about, they could put quite a few in there, really nice.
And then if a car hits it, that's like hitting a wall and it's a death. Yes, that's why. Yes. Okay, let's leave that on the agenda for next meeting. Right, general correspondence.
Yeah, just a couple of items from Cllr. They have their annual councillors conference, 6th of July, if anyone's interested in attending, and they have announced their summer training programme, which I will circulate to all councillors if they're interested.
Lovely.
Do you know where the conference is being held? Is it local or?
I don't know. I'll send
Yeah,
it through.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. We're going to pass round. Anything under any other business? Chris?
Just one quick comment, I forgot to mention, I've got a bad car accident upon London Road a few days ago. I was coming out from town first of all, and I could see all these blue flashing lights, and there were at least 2 police cars there, and 2 cars have been involved with a shunt. I don't know what happened there exactly, kept well away. But again, I would imagine through speeding as much as anything. And I think one car was trying to turn right into a driveway, and the other car was, oh goodness knows, but anyway. So speeding is still an issue up on that top road.
Yeah, it's an issue on it's on Lower Road and indeed on Lewisham Road. Speeding is a problem. You stand in the high street and hear these cars come up the town. I mean, it's. Yes, yeah. Yep. Right. Christian, anything?
Just like remind everybody that the events meeting is on 4th of July, Independence Day, 2 p.m.
No Americans will be there, but.
Well, I can bring you a flag and a milkshake.
Right.
Donald.
I'm just one thing to bring
Oh,
up.
go ahead.
And Andrew and I spoke in the week with regard to VAT. We are quite often late in recovering our VAT. It at times is many thousands of pounds and can be tens of. I've asked Andrew to look at a system whereby as he enters the VAT, it basically does your return. So press of a button at the end of a quarter. You've not got to sit down and compile your VAT. It builds up as you put it into the system. Andrew, you were going to investigate that.
Yeah, there is a particular online software called Scribe, which is specifically built for parish councils. I will get an updated cost of it. It's a subscription-based software, and I can send around details of it.
If you could, we can bring it up at the next meeting. No, it's just, at the moment, I'm very much aware that Andrew is permanently on the back foot, catching up on what he's got to do, and I'm looking at ways of trying to streamline, and certainly VAT is a big problem, becomes a headache, but it's a lot of money at times, it really is. So, yes, so I've asked Andrew, well, you've heard that, so we'll have something before the next meeting, and we can discuss it at the next meeting. Right, nothing else to add. Thank you, members of the public, for coming here this evening. It's nice to have a packed audience, and believe you me, 5 members of the public is a packed audience, and you've got Nigel and a district and a county councillor here. It's sorry, is not Mr. Richardson? No.
No.
Oh right. No.
I didn't offer myself up for this election. 23 years on district council.
Yep. But no, thank you all for coming this evening. And I say, yeah, we can't please everyone all of the time. We will try to, but we have to have some rules, regulation, common sense and comments such as made by Mr Hall with regard to a recreation ground where animals are allowed and it's in a disgusting state speaks for itself. You know, I
And
won't
if you
say any
make
more than
one
that.
mistake, they never forgive you.
Exactly.
All the world's in a good, but you make one little mistake
Yes.
and they say,
Yes, yep, no, thank
very
you.
good meeting.
Thank you all
Mr.
very
Chairman.
much, everyone. Thank you.